A new manager posted this on Reddit a couple weeks ago, and she's about to get played by her own employee. So the title here is, I'm a new manager. My direct report bats everything back to me. I had to reread that a couple times because I guess I didn't get the reference. Bats everything back to me. But once you get into it, so you can see here, she mentions she's a government employee and this person is using a technique, maybe the person, meaning the employee, is using a technique where she's kind of weaponizing incompetence and pushing everything back to her manager. So the task is, I asked her to make a spreadsheet on Google Docs, add our team as collaborators, and track incoming calls and 3 pieces of info the calls would give us. Seems like a pretty simple task. And she immediately, the manager says she got emails saying she can't find how to add collaborators. The cells are sticking when I try to increase its width. This would be better as a database, and I can't seem to save. The last one is kind of surprising, considering the year that we live in. I don't understand how someone can't save a Google document. But let's dig into this a little bit more. So she mentions she fears that if she ignores her, the task won't get done, and she'll say, but I asked you for help. And like I said at the beginning, she works in a government job. It's difficult to fire her, which is great because my background, as I worked in the military for 20 years, now on the corporate side, but I can validate or vouch for her statement that it can be very difficult after someone has passed the probationary period specifically for a federal employee. It's very difficult to remove a person. So what can we do here? So one of the first things I noticed looking at this, and maybe you noticed it too, is that in none of the emails, there was no attempt at anything other than she started in the Google Doc, she started working, and she ran into a wall, and then she stopped and sent an email, and then she ran into another wall, and then she stopped, and then she sent another email. There were 4 emails, according to this post here, and no attempts to try to do something. There was no email that said, here's what I tried. That at least would show some kind of initiative. So that's why it feels like she's probably trying to deflect the responsibility, or in the case of the Reddit, the original post here. So one of the other things that's really interesting in here is related to what I just talked about. She's essentially sliding the task back across the desk, back to the manager. And the manager actually knows it. She says, I fear if I ignore her, the task won't get done, and she'll say, but I asked you for help. The fear right there is essentially a leash, and the employee is the one holding the leash, not the other way around. I put out practical leadership advice like this every week for managers who got promoted but weren't given a roadmap or a playbook. Okay, to the fix. So what's interesting in the comment section is one of the top comments, or the top comment on this post, is actually pretty good. It says, before you answer anything, ask her what steps she's taken to find the fix. That's the right instinct. So from now on, every one of those emails gets a reply. What have you tried so far? In that example, you are not being difficult. You're handing the task back across. There's another comment that goes to the other extreme, swinging the pendulum all the way across. And it has almost 100 upvotes. It says, document, counsel, write-up, termination. And look, the paper trail matters, especially in a government position, but you can't fire your way out of a conversation that you need to have, or a conversation that you haven't had yet. That's actually move 5 out of the 4 that I'm going to go through here, and you haven't even gone through step 1 yet. The first move is you need to name it. No small talk, no compliment sandwich. You know, the compliment sandwich where you praise somebody, then you give the critical or constructive feedback, and then you compliment again. Nope, just name it. It might sound like, I've noticed that when I give you a task, I get a list of reasons that it can't be done instead of attempts at trying to solution or find the answer on your own. Pretty simple, straightforward, like I said. No accusing, you're just describing what you both know is actually happening. The second move is you need to ask before you start telling. Walk me through what happens when you hit a wall on a task. What you're searching for here is a thought process. Sometimes people that are like this, they want the answers given to them rather than having to try to work through the problem themselves. One of the biggest tips or tricks I can say here is let the silence do its own work. Sit in it. You've handed it back to the employee. You need to sit in the silence. It's just like a sales call sometimes. People have heard that analogy before. The first person that speaks loses. In this case, you've passed the ball back over to her and you need to wait for a response. So either she's going to give you an obstacle which you can help with and coach through, or she's got nothing and she's going to hear that she has nothing because you're not saying anything until she does. The third move is you need to say what changes from here going forward. So going forward, if you hit a problem, I need you to try at least 3 things before you reach out to me. And when it does come to me, I need you to explain what you did try before you reached out to me. What were those 3 things? So now I asked for help alibi doesn't work anymore because you have some more substantial information and documentation to back it up. She has to do some effort and some work on her part. And then the last one, the 4th move, is you lock in that next step. You say the spreadsheet's due Friday. If you hit a wall, I'll be asking what you tried. Does that sound fair? Get the yes. Then next week, when it comes down to the discussion again, if she has any issues or there's a fly flying around, then you get the yes, and then that's the whole game. Next week, when you're having a new argument, hopefully not, you're just pointing back to that agreement that you just made. The 4-move method is 1, you need to name it, ask before you tell, get some information, say what changes I expect this going forward, and lock in the next step. So that happens all in one conversation, just like we went through. So that employee there that we used in this example from Reddit has probably been running this scenario on managers for years. And it's been working because managers have replied to her emails. That 4-move conversation that we just went over, it's all in the new manager's playbook. Link will be in the description. Free, no strings. I'd love for you to drop in the comments to hear what creative excuses some employees have given you. I'm Kyle Schmidt, and I'll see you in the next one.